in today's silliness, we've boats, caravans and cars. Yes, it's DIY job days. And we ask the question, how's he getting on with that roof box? Now then, and welcome to the video. As ever, I'd like to say a big thank you to all you likers, watchers and subscribers. And I'd also like to thank all you commenters as well. I've really enjoyed reading through some of the things you've had to say. Indeed, if you've got out to say yourself, you've got any questions or even suggestions for things we can do on this channel, why don't you stick them in the comment box wherever YouTube's put it this week, and I'll do my very best to get back to you. Well, we missed last week's video. I've been mad busy doing jobs. I haven't even had a chance to finish that roof box yet. And as you can see, we're rocking about a bit. It's blowing a hoolie today, so sorry for the wobbly camera work. I thought this week that I'd put together a few of the jobs I have been doing, both on Laura and off Laura, for the family, and then we had to fix the car. Things have been going wrong quite a lot lately on that car. Maybe it's time for a new one. Any road, it's just a quick look at the things we've been getting up to. So this is our galley. Excuse the mess, we're just making tea. And then underneath this cupboard here is our junk drawer. So what I'm hoping to do is, just there behind the waffy hand, is all my screws and nuts and bolts and washers and little fittings. I'm hoping to take all that junk that's in there and put it in the back. But if it doesn't work, you'll never ever see this video. Let's crack on. So I was thinking about putting on the back wall there the drawers, but unfortunately they're just a bit wide, and the position I'd have to put them where they'd fit would be too low down and you won't be able to get in here. But I'm gonna double check and see whether I can do that, whether I've got room, what have you. The other place is just where that hook is there. I could put the shelf there and pack out the bottom so that they weren't too much of a problem. So we'll give it a go and see what we can come up with. So there we have it. There's the first position we can have it in. As you can see, I've taken down that hook. We normally put the hook, we normally put on that hook pins and chains and things for mooring. So I don't think that's going to work because it's a bit too close to this, which I have to get in and out of and take stuff in and out of. So I think what I'm going to do is try it up on that wall there. We'll see how it goes then. So that's her in a new position, but as you can see, she's not exactly plumb. She could do with being there. So I'm going to have to stick a little bit of timber behind there to straighten her up. Otherwise, them drawers go in, and every time we go around a corner, everything will slide out. There we are. She's all put back together. I've put the hook up over there and hung the pins, mooring pins there. She's a bit whiffy waffy on that, but I'm going to cut a sliver of timber and I'll stick it behind the wood, and that should stop it from moving at all. we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you posted. Now, typically, as you do in a job, you come up things like this. Head of that screw has snapped off and it's stuck in tight. I'm going to have to do some faffing now to get that off. Might be swearing. There we are, the sliver's in. It's a bit Heath Robinson, but it'll do for now. It's just a temporary thing, which means we'll probably sell the boat and it'll still be there. But hopefully we won't. We'll get it sorted. It's not whiffy waffing around anymore. Everything's in there nice and neat. It looks smashing. So with everything done, I just need to figure out what I'm going to do with all this stuff. Here we are, I've bagged it all up. Just got to figure out where in here on earth I'm going to put it. There we are, out of sight, out of mind. The next job on our list is this kitchen floor. Them carpet tiles are looking a bit worse for wear, so we're going to put some lino down. We've removed all the carpet tiles. You can see the little access hatch there. It's an OSB board floor and it's resting on some timbers. There we go, it's all put down and all back together again. It wasn't too hard to do. I didn't really film cutting it because it was just like a pokey little area, so I couldn't really do any filming, but it was quite easy to cut. I've just laid it down without sticking it. At a later date I'm going to have to put in a access hatch. We're actually going to put a fridge in the floor there, we think. Well, we'll give it a go, see what we can do. Next job is the shower tray. As you can see, there's a little mark on the left there which is a rust spot, and that's from our shopping trolley. We keep it in there when we're doing any travelling, so it's out of the way. Unfortunately, it is causing damage in there. So what I'm going to need is something to keep all the stuff off the floor of the shower so that it doesn't get damp and we don't get any more of those rust spots. Right, so here's the tools that I'm going to need. There we are. I've got a saw there for cutting the timber. I've got a square, an engineer's square, which you can use the saw to square off the timber. I've got a tape measure for measuring, obviously, pencil, and then I've got some drill bits for drilling pilot holes, some screws that I have knocking about on the boat, and I've also got a drill driver and a screwdriver, the impact driver. You can use hand tools if you want. I've even got one of those old-fashioned hand drills, but I can't find it at the minute. I will dig that out because I do like using it every now and again. It's quite, it's nice to go old school sometimes. So I'll start by laying out the two cross timbers. They're going to hold the other timbers that cross it. I've cut them all to the size, obviously, and then I've laid on just a couple of them to see how it'll all look and how it'll all fit. That's the whole thing. That's how big it's going to be. Obviously it's not quite measured out correctly just yet, but I know I've got enough timber and that's how it's going to look. I'm pre-drilling and I'm using a piece of timber underneath so it doesn't spelch. As you can see, it has been used before. It's had brackets on it, and then I'm just screwing it in, marking it and screwing it into position there with just wood screws. Once I've done the whole thing, it's ready to lay out back into the shower tray just to see how it looks. I used the edge of the fire thing there just to make sure that they were all in line. I got it wrong the first time, so I had to redo it. And there we go, it's back in, and that'll keep everything dry and off the base of the shower. In other jobs that I had to do off the boat, actually this time, was for my granddaughter Ellie. Hello Ellie. She had a new bed, but it was too big for the room that she was in, so I had to cut down the bed a little bit so it would fit in. It was an absolute massive faff. actually cutting the bits and marking them out and putting them in, that's quite easy to do. But actually putting it together in that tiny little bedroom, and we had a wardrobe in there as well, was an absolute nightmare. I got it in eventually. I had to cut back some of the windowsill in the end, which I can always stick another bit back, a bit of moulding on the front of there at a later date. I'm reliably informed that Ellie loves a new bed, and she even likes the little den that she's made underneath it. Then I had to fix the little smart car. What had happened was the battery was draining out, so it looked like the alternator had stopped working. I had to replace that alternator twice actually, because the first one failed. It means you have to take the engine pretty much out, so we had to drop that down. I have a good pal who's got a garage, and he very kindly let me use his ramp and all his tools, and even a bit of technical know-how as well. So I owe him a big favour now, which we'll be sorting out in the not too distant future. Whilst they were doing that, Debbie had said there was a bit of a knocking going on at the front end, so I had a look, and that's what I found. That was that. A new one was duly fitted, and I'm glad we'd had it on the ramp, otherwise I'd have never seen it. Another job that I took on just after Christmas actually was a caravan. My sister has an old 1980s caravan, and it needed a bit of love and care. When we stripped everything out, we found most of the wooden frame was a bit rotten, so we've had to replace quite a lot of it, put all new flooring, new electrics and everything. That's an ongoing project. We're just waiting on a few bits and bobs for that job. Now, before you all rush off to do something more important, let's answer that question we asked right at the beginning of this video. How's he getting on with that roof box? Oh, it looks like he might finally get it done. There we go, all the jobs wrapped up for this week. A few more for next week. Well, what have we got for you next week then? Here's a sneaky peek. Oh, that's a near perfect dismount, that. If you made it this far, well, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, why not give us a thumbs up? Subscribe if you want to see more. And if you click that little bell icon, YouTube will mither you next time we release one. Well, that's everything on my list. I reckon we'll call it a draw for this one. Till next time.